The New York Knicks will certainly defend Jaylen Brown differently. What would they do? How do you combat that? And can Luke Kornet repeat his performance from Game 5? It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamp. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Jrue KP, tap in daily. Primetime dapping D White on the sideline. Raining Jays, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day, and I got you covered every Monday through Friday. Wherever you get your podcast, watch a show on YouTube. It's free. It's everywhere. You can get into the comment section, have some fun, go back and forth with some Knicks fans. Everybody's up in their feelings, so go join that conversation there. I'm John Karalis. I cover the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering the Celtics for about 20 years now. I've written a couple of books about the team. So hopefully that's enough for you to trust me and my opinion. And my opinion is the Celtics have a very good chance at beating the Knicks in Game 6 with some very specific kind of maybe adjustments that you can expect. Today's show brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the app, use the code LOCKEDONNBA. You get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Later on, we'll get into Luke Kornet and whether he can repeat his Game 5 performance, which I think he can but can't. It's like a yes and no answer. First two segments can be about Jaylen Brown and what I anticipate New York doing. Having watched the game again, gotten into the video, in what Boston can do to kind of keep New York off balance. So let's start with this. Jaylen was damn near perfect in Game 5. So heading into Game 6, I think if I'm the Knicks, I'm looking at Jaylen and Jaylen without Tatum, and thinking, okay, we have to modify what we do a little bit. I anticipate the Knicks helping less on Jaylen. To me, what Jaylen was able to do was get into the teeth of the defense, draw a lot of help. The Knicks are programmed to protect the rim at all costs. And this is going to be very difficult because it's very tough for a team that's been playing a certain way all year long on May 15th to look at the film and be like, oh, okay. The answer is to do something that we don't normally do. So go out there and do this thing we don't normally do, and we should be okay. Which they are professionals. They are professionals, and there is a strong possibility that they can keep doing what they do. However, the muscle memory of this season has built up to a point where there's a natural reaction. As a player, you're kind of like taught, if you're thinking, you're too slow, right? If you're out on the floor thinking, you're moving too slowly, you need to be reacting. And that doesn't always hold true. When you're walking the ball up the floor or bring the ball up the floor, you do have to read and react and think a lot of, okay, I see this, I see that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. But so much of it is actually reactions. Right? And the reason why these guys process the game so fast is you almost see past your first defender. You see what the second defender is doing. You see, if you're really good, you can see the third level defender. So you got the first level, a guy in front of you, the second level of help, the third level back there. If there's secondary help or what that guy along the baseline might be doing or what guys in the corner, if you can pick all of that up, as you're scanning the floor, you go, oh, boom. I see this guy, I'm doing this. It's a reaction. It's so quick because you hammer at home starting in September. Actually, starting over the summer, July, August, the work that you're doing. But when you come back to your home city, The Celtics come back to Boston early September, mid-September. They start their workouts. You're starting to build your habits there. The Knicks have built habits of protect the rim, help, shift. You know that you've got Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns you have to help, and they have played a certain style of defense. So all of this is to say that I'm saying the Knicks need to stop helping against Jaylen Brown. If the Knicks are going to win game 6, I think the answer is Jaylen Brown, isolation, try to do it all yourself. He had 12 assists in that game 5. The offense looked really good. Him having 12 assists, 10, a high assist game, that's death for the Knicks. So if I'm trying to anticipate a game plan as Joe Mazzulla and that staff, I'm thinking, okay, Jaylen picked them apart because they kept helping. So if you stay home as much as you can, stay home on your guys, even when Jaylen's getting to the rim, let Jaylen do his thing. I think both teams are saying that same exact sentence. Let Jaylen do his thing. Shut down the other guys. And so Jaylen Brown may be asked to do a lot. I think the Knicks would ask him to say, hey, you know what, buddy? We don't think you can score. We don't think you can take Jalen Brunson off the dribble. I don't think you can do it. Let me see. Let me see you do it. And he will. And he might score. You might get a little bit of late help. I know that if I'm looking at past Jaylen Brown playoff failures, you're trying to bait him into getting too deep into the paint, and then you're going to trap him late. So once he gets below the dots, maybe that's where you throw a little late help. You dare him to drive, and then you collapse on him. He has had a suspect handle, so I think I would expect the Knicks to be more patient on their help, to dare Jaylen Brown to do it all himself. And, if they lose that way, if Jaylen just goes out and drops 50 and there's, whatever, like the Celtics defense stops the Knicks and the Celtics win, you deal with it when you're in New York. But I anticipate a more, again, I go back to that Miami 2023 series. I expect the defense to look more like that. I expect to see Jaylen get deeper into the paint penetration and then a pounce. So all of that is to say, Jaylen Brown better prepare for that. They cannot get caught by surprise, because if the Knicks play the same defense, if they just stick with what they've been doing, thank you, because Jaylen will just attack, and when the help comes early, he can see all of the outlets early, and that helps him out tremendously. He did a fantastic job getting down below the three-point line, into the paint, around the paint, in transition, pushing the pace, and spraying the ball, and doing just seeing things early, making the play early, getting off the ball early, and having a lot of offensive success that way. So if they want to keep doing that, then by all means, let Jaylen Brown pick you apart again. I wouldn't expect that. I don't expect that. And so how do you keep New York off balance with that? How do you, if they start doing that, what do you go to? I'll tell you when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You got to make sure you're downloading that Prize Picks app and playing daily fantasy sports, because this is the best time to be playing daily fantasy. You got baseball back. You've got basketball playoffs at their peak. And your regular fantasy season is over, but you can still play daily fantasy basketball during the playoffs. So, and Prize Picks makes it super easy. You pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and then you're in. So it's points, rebounds, assists. You got a shot to win up to 2,000 times your money. That's really good. So this week you have a bunch of different options. You got Jalen Brunson, more or less than 26 points. I might believe in the Celtics defense. I might say less. Jaylen Brown, more or less than 6 assists. I trust them. I think more on that one. You can take 60 seconds to use this app. Mix and match basketball players, baseball players, esports. Go for it. It's all in the same lineup. When you hit your picks, payout hits fast, sometimes in as little as 15 minutes. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Just recorded Locked On NBA Game Night with Jake Madison, covering the OKC Denver game. Denver beating the Thunder and forcing a Game 7. So we got that from both sides. And I have a whole big rant about the officiating and how the regular season is different than the playoffs. So go check that out on Locked On NBA Game Night. So I kind of outlined a plan here, what I expect, or what the New York Knicks should do. How do you combat that? So let's say you see it happening. My number one thing is to play faster. If you understand that they're allowing you to get deep into the paint, well, I would start, first of all, it starts with your defense. And you say, okay, we got to step it up on defense. We got to get stops. And when we get the stops, we've got to run. But not only run off the stops, run off the makes. The only way this defense that I described works is in a walk it up set half court where everybody can get together and Tibbs can growl from the bench, stay home, stay home. Like that. If you allow them to do that, then you're going to have trouble. So even when they make a shot, push, get up the floor, they can't set up a base defense. They can't set up like if they want to go zone or anything like that. When you're pushing the ball, the first person back has to pick up the guy with the ball. And that's where you start getting those habits, that muscle memory that I talked about to kick in. If you push the ball up the floor and Josh Hart is back there, but OG Anunoby is running back, there's some miscommunication. One thing I saw in Game 5 game film was tons of miscommunication between the Knicks, pointing at this guy, not realizing who's got whom, and 2 guys going to the ball. That's the type of stuff you need the Knicks to start doing. You put some pressure on that Knicks defense, it will crumble. They are not great at making decisions. They don't all make the same decisions. And you've got guys like Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, who feel like they have to cover for more than one person. So make them feel that way. Make them cover for more than one person. Josh Hart in transition will see the ball and he'll just go right to the ball, even though his guy's flaring out. So that you draw 2, then you kick it. You've got a trailer. The Celtics are very good at understanding spacing. You get it out to the trailer, you force a reaction, and then you read from there. Do you drive? Do you kick? Whatever you need to do. So I think it's all about the pace. Doesn't matter what the Knicks do. Score, not score, just push. Get over half court. That means a lot of Payton Pritchard. It means a lot of pushing the ball from Derrick White, Jrue Holiday. Those guys got to be ready to go, ready to push. I'm putting a lot on Pritchard in this Game 6 to be that guy that pushes the pace. Jaylen has to be physically ready to do it. He just has to be physically ready to do it. So I think that number one, push the pace. Number two, get the ball out of Jaylen's hands. That's the other way to combat this. If the whole Knicks defense is geared towards getting Jaylen to bite and drive, well, you know what? Start Jaylen off the ball. Don't have him be the initial ball handler. Start the ball in Pritchard or White or Holiday's hands and use Jaylen as a screener. Use a multiple screening action. Put two guys up there on the ball to, a stagger screen, a horn set, something where Jaylen is off the ball and then he can do something where the Knicks, if the Knicks are overly concerned with him, maybe he opens something up for the other team, for another teammate. All of these things are aimed at getting the Knicks to be frustrated with what they're trying to do. It's a big ask to say, change how you defend. So make it a big ask. Make them frustrated. Make them upset. Have them talking to one another and being like, no, you do this. I've seen Hart do it. I've seen, I think, Anunoby do it. I've seen, I think, Brunson do it. Turning to a teammate and like gesturing and saying, no, what are you doing? We got to do this. We got to do that. They are prone. Karl-Anthony Towns. I think Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the softest, mentally weak players out there. Go challenge him. Make him defend. Make him defend in space. Put him in some actions off the ball. See if he can't make a mistake and free somebody up. Bring Jaylen, make Jaylen more of a cutter. Give him opportunities to cut. Post them up. There's another opportunity, another thing that you could do differently. Post them up. And if they try to, if they want to stay home on post-ups, then they can stay home on post-ups. That's another, get him the mismatch onto Brunson. Get him a mismatch onto, Bridges. And all right, if you don't want to send help, then don't send help. I will just do what I do in the post. And I think him in the post is a great option. So there are ways to combat what I'm saying the Knicks should do. Again, if the Knicks do their normal thing, the way the Celtics played in Game 5 is fine. And it was still with pace, but I think Jaylen will have a much better ball, like distribution kind of game. But I want to see Derrick White as the primary point guard. I want to see Jrue Holiday as the primary point guard. I want to see more of that and get creative with when Jaylen can get the ball. Jaylen will get plenty of points. He'll get them in transition. If he needs to be a guy whose gravity draws the defense in a certain direction and allows things to open up for his teammates, then do it. Then he said he's all about winning. He is all about winning. So let's make it all about winning. Let's see what he can do out there. But this is going to have to be a creative offensive plan for the Celtics. If the Knicks make this play, this has to be, Joe likes to talk about humility. This is all about the humility. Everything that Joe has said is going to be tested here because Jaylen's greatness is being tested, and his mental kind of approach to the game being tested. Can he avoid the bait of being dared to score a lot if they throw that out there and do the things that he needs to do to make it so other Celtics are beating the Knicks? I think he can do it. I think the plan is there. We'll see how this plan goes in Game 2. A big part of the plan defensively is Luke Kornet. Can he repeat what he did in Game 5? Yes. And also no. I'll explain that next. Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. We know the NBA playoffs, super intense, buzzer beaters, people are losing their minds. You want to be a part of this atmosphere. So you need to download the Game Time app, which makes it fast and easy to get seats. I used the Game Time app when I was in New York. I landed there last Friday and I was like, hey, what's going on around here? Oh, New York Liberty and Connecticut Sun. Let me take in a preseason WNBA game. I got a great price. I got to see the view from my seat right from my app, and I knew what I was getting into. It was perfect. It's exactly what it showed me. The price was exactly what it said it was going to be. I used it. I went. I had fun. It's great. They have zone deals that offer 60% off in great sections. And with the Game Time guarantee, you know you're getting the best deal. If you find a better price in the same row and section, they will credit you with 110% of the difference. There's no surprise fees. These last-minute deals are killer. They have the NFL schedule release just dropped, so they're already got their fall calendar, so if you want to get into that. So Game Time makes scoring all of these tickets easy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account. Redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKED, NBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Give Locked On Knicks a try. You know, if you haven't listened to them, you missed a lot of complaining after that Game 5. A lot of complaining. They were not happy with how the Knicks played. So go check it out. We got a Locked On for everybody, so it's worth the listen. Can Luke Kornet repeat his Game 5 performance? Yes, he can, and no, he can't. Yes, he can, because his Game 5 performance was about being in the right spot at the right time. Defensively, it was executing the game plan against Josh Hart and playing it after a couple of early mistakes, playing it practically perfectly, closing out under control, not selling out to block a shot, even though he did block one of his threes for his 7th block shot. But playing under control, getting there in time to deter the shot when he was playing off of Hart, but getting there, staying with him on the drive, and then turning his attention to the guy he passed it to and blocking that guy's shot, right? He blocked Karl Anthony Towns. He blocked OG Anunoby. He blocked Brunson. He blocked Hart once. It's understanding the Knicks offense and that they are running the clock down. If you've got Josh Hart with the ball, like Brunson's going to do what he does. And then if the Celtics sniff that out and stop it, then it gets over to Josh Hart because he's the open guy. And if there's like 10 seconds left on the shot clock, all you got to do is get him to drive and he'll try to dish it maybe to somebody underneath. What Kornet did was understand the shot clock. And if OG got the ball with, 5 seconds on the shot clock, you knew he had maybe one fake, maybe. And you also had a defender with you, a teammate there to make it difficult. And you knew one of these, he's got to go up with this shot at some point. So he did a great job timing that. But more than anything, it was good positional defense, an understanding of the defensive game plan, shutting off driving lanes, and forcing the Knicks to take tough contested twos. So in that sense, yeah, he can absolutely duplicate that effort. He did a great job keeping the Knicks from getting to the rim for the most part. Now, also, no, he cannot, because he blocked 7 shots, and no one should expect him to block 7 shots. Probably 3, 4 on a good night, but he's not going to block 7 shots. So, I mean, maybe he will, maybe, but I wouldn't expect him to do that. So I I would say no, he cannot duplicate a 7 block shot night, but he doesn't have to. It's more about challenging the shots. Challenging a shot and forcing a miss is just as good as blocking the shot if you clear the rebound. If you clear the rebound, you got to do that. So I think in that sense, like Luke's not going to put up, I think, the same numbers, but he can be exactly what he was up until the blocks. And I thought that his execution of it was the classic Celtics versus Knicks game plan. It was play off of Hart, get into the paint, deter the drive, get back out to Hart. Don't give up too many, don't let him get warm-up shots, which he did early in the third quarter, but they got away from that. That was the plan. He did everything we thought Kristaps Porzingis was going to do in this series. Literally did everything defensively that I thought KP would do. And maybe doing it a little bit better because I think he's just a little bit more under control. You need KP. I think they should still find you got to play him. You got to figure out if he can give you anything. But Kornet gave you, I mean, he can give you a lot of the same stuff. Now, the Knicks might counter with some different personnel, but I still don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. I don't think they're going to go too crazy with that. Now, game 7, they might try a bunch of different things if it gets there. But for now, I do think that Luke can duplicate the important stuff. And then how the plays finish, we'll see. I will be there. I'm heading to New York in the morning, and we'll be there for the game. So my next podcast is coming from New York, a bonus podcast, a bonus Friday podcast. Hopefully not the last podcast of the season, but even if it is, I will still be here for the off season. So make sure you're subscribed. I'm still going to be 5 days a week, no matter what. But as long as the Celtics keep playing, I will be podcasting after every game. So subscribe, get into the comment section on the YouTube page, watch it there. The show is free. It's available to everybody. So no excuses. And the everydayers, I appreciate you for being here every Monday through Friday, even with the bonus podcast. I see you in the comments. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Now I would ask you to do me one more favor. Can you share the podcast? Can you tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network? It's your team every day.